What up, dude? And welcome to Lions Nation Unite. I'm your host, Curt Steele. You may know me as the host of the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. Like this video, leave a comment and share it with other Detroit Lions fans. Today, let's talk about how the Lions are playing old school football and winning doing it. But first, please subscribe to the social media channels of this platform, join the movement, and become a part of the community that is Lions Nation Unite. The Detroit Lions are 2-1 at the start of the 2024 season, and one thing has stood out. Their two victories came playing old school smash mouth football on both sides of the ball. The Detroit Lions can run the ball on offense and stop the run on defense. It's a stark contrast to how the Lions have played in the recent past. Let's take a look at how this came about under Dan Campbell. MCDC is an old school coach. He wants to play a physical brand of football focused on running the ball. He and general manager Brad Holmes have made it evident that this team is built through the trenches. They have added pieces through the draft and free agency each season they have been at the helm in Detroit. This year is no different. Let's talk about the offense. On offense, they added one of the best run blocking guards in the league to the roster, Kevin Zeitler, to play next to the best run blocking right tackle in the NFL, Penei Sewell. The left side, it's not as accomplished as the right side, but there aren't any slouches. You got Graham Glasgow and Taylor Decker. Running that ship in the middle is all pro center Frank Ragnow. Now, as a group, these guys are nasty. I mean, they can lean on opposing teams' defensive lines and wear them out throughout the game. However, you can't run the ball with just anybody. The Lions went and upgraded their running back room, adding veteran running back David Montgomery in 2023 and drafted dynamic offensive weapon out of Alabama, Jahmyr Gibbs, to that backfield. Montgomery, Demo, that dude, man. He is a tough physical runner with some good bursts in the open field. Don't let him fool you. You think he'll just run over you, but he will run past you. Gibbs, lightning quick, and can break away to score a touchdown any second. But he can run between the tackles. Don't get it twisted. Jahmyr Gibbs is physical as well. The pair almost became the first Lions running back duo to run for 1,000 yards each last season. Gibbs, he had a slow start to the season, and he just finished 55 yards short of that goal. This season, they're off to a hard start once again. Demo and Gibbs are the first pair of running backs with 70 scrimmage yards each on the same team in the NFL through the first three games of the season since 2006. I mean, you look at this. Old school, smash mouth, running the ball football. The one piece of the puzzle that some people forget, I ain't forgot, is about the offensive line coach, who is a holdover from the previous coaching regime, Hank Fraley. He keeps that offensive line ready, and the talent fall off is minimum when players have to rotate in and out due to injury or just to get a breather, but they don't take breaks. From top to bottom, Fraley has this offensive line operating like a well-oiled machine at all times. They embody his and Coach Campbell's mindset when it comes to the run game. We will drag you to the deep water and drown you with our style of play. This group showed that mentality in week 1 in the overtime win versus the Los Angeles Rams. They manhandled the Rams defensive line in the only drive of the overtime period, running the ball 8 out of 9 times to seal the victory with a 1-yard touchdown run from David Montgomery. It was a thing of beauty. They just ran it and ran it and ran it, and it was nothing that the Rams defensive line could do about it. They were just huffing and puffing, and it was such a thing of beauty, man. It was such a thing of beauty. Running the ball on offense is the identity that the Lions have established over the past couple of seasons. Like I said, it's just like their coach, Dan Campbell. Baby, it's old school what they're doing with that run game. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Be a part of the movement that is Lions Nation Unite. For more content from me, head over to the Boss Up Ball Out Podcast YouTube channel, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. Now, we talked about the offensive side of the ball. I said they're doing it two ways, old school. They're running the ball and stopping the run. So let's talk about what's going on with the defense and how Aaron Glenn has turned this run defense around in a short amount of time. When AG took over as defensive coordinator in 2021, the Lions were near the bottom of the league, giving up 135 yards rushing to opposing offenses per game. It was terrible. Well, things just got worse the next season because in 2022, they surrendered 146 yards per game on the ground. But then something happened. The players on the roster got better in a hurry. Because in 2023, they were number 2 in the league, only allowing 88 yards in the run game per game. And currently, they are ranked number 4, and that's going to change, because they only given up 76 yards per game. I mean, like I told you, but I say old school football. Similar to the Lions offense, they add pieces to the defensive trenches each year. The first season in the draft, which with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, they drafted Aleem McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike. The next season, they added Josh Pascal, a versatile defensive player who can play defensive end or defensive tackle. And oh yeah, they added some guy named Aiden Hutchinson. But now we know he's a pass rusher, but he can also set the edge as a defensive end. Last season, it was Broderick Martin, big mountain of a man that can on that D line. And then also a heat-seeking missile last year named Jack Campbell to that front seven. Now, a few of these players that they added did not blossom immediately. You know, it's just going to take them a little while to come around. But they've leaned on each other and learned together and became a force when stopping the run. This season, y'all know who the biggest acquisition is. If you don't know, the biggest piece to the puzzle this year has been defensive tackle DJ Reader. Like Martin, this dude is huge, man. He eats up double teams and allows veteran linebackers like Azalone, Derek Barnes, and the young fella Jack Campbell to play downhill because he's eating up those double teams, man. And you got guys like Aleem McNeil, and then also the new young fellas that they got on this team with Makai Wingo and a veteran like Kyle Pecco as rotational players on the defensive line just to stop the run, just stuff it. You ain't going nowhere. Now, we talked about that offensive line coach with Hank Fraley. Well, guess what? They added another coach to that defensive line, and it's been outstanding line coach Terrell Williams, who came over from the Tennessee Titans this offseason, and his influence can be felt already. Onwuzurike, we talked about him. Josh Pascal, both of those guys were injury plagued their first 2 seasons, but now they're healthy, and under his tutelage, man, they've upgraded their pass rush moves and how they play on the defensive line. You can see how their play has been elevated this year under Terrell Williams. Offenses know that when they line them up to run the ball against the Detroit Lions this year, it's going to be tough sledding all game. Now, we talked about the defensive line and we talked about the linebackers, but there's one group I haven't mentioned quite yet. When it comes to stopping the run, that's the secondary. Aaron Glenn, former All-Pro cornerback, defensive back, safety, has made it a point to his cornerbacks and his safeties on the Lions that to play in his defense, you have to help in run support. But he got guys like Brian Branch and Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold and Amik Robinson who are constantly crashing down and setting the edge to prevent big runs from opposing running backs. It's crazy. I mean, you look at this, man. They were almost last in the league in 2021 to look at where they are now in 2024. Old school smash mouth football. Physical. The Lions have made offenses one-dimensional with their run defense, and like their counterparts on offense, they are nasty and physical at the point of attack. Their play is a throwback to when the Lions played in the black and blue division of the NFC Central. And guess what they're doing? They're winning doing it. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. Be a part of the movement that is Lions Nation Unite. For more content from me, head over to the Boss Up Ball Out Podcast YouTube channel, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. Thanks for hanging out with your boy Curt Steele, man, for Lions Nation Unite. This is Curt Steele, and I will holla at you real soon.